high budget CoC. I'm gonna do on my favorite tropical island map and show you guys how it looks like. Okay, so in short, right, actually it is as good as the low. It is similar to the low budget. Alright, very similar, just that it has way more damage now, slightly more survivability. Of course, we have max chaos resistance, but there is still something that I need to tweak in terms of like mana cost, sustaining the charges, which defensive layers is the better to use, guard skills, so on and so forth. Oh, I got a celebration shrine. Okay, so this is a very good example. Let me show you. It is damn awesome to play with an acceleration shrine. Right, so if you are playing this build, next time when you actually build it, when I release the video, always take shrine in your map. Okay, you're just gonna shoot like some machine gun free. Okay, it is damn fast. If you have a headhunter, then it's even better. Okay, the clear is really good. Right. Okay, you can see the clear is really fast, it's really good. It is very strong for normal mapping. Okay, but I have actually attempted a natural daily map and I am still trying to tweak around it because I am experiencing some problems after like 7 reward layer. Okay, the monsters are too thick, I can't clear them fast enough. And yeah, I'm trying to see what I can do to improve this build. But as of now, right, if it's just normal mapping, this build is damn awesome. Look how fast I shoot, how fast this build clears. Normal mapping, this build is awesome. Okay, and one thing that is good to know, this build can do bosses as well. It has good single target. Alright, it has really good single target. Of course, it is slightly more squishy than all your other tanky builds. It doesn't have block, but yeah, it's more than enough, and it's good enough because its range. You can just kite the bosses here and there. Ooh, Gilded Ambush, not bad. Okay, coming to the end. Okay, I'm just gonna kill the boss. Look at the boss HP, man. This is a buff up Eldritch Altar boss. It is very powerful. Okay, I'm not using a headhunter. By the way, I'm not using a headhunter. Okay. Alright, so guys, yes, here it is. This is the build guide for the Deadeye Bow CoC Ice Spear. With the changes to 3.19, we have slightly less defenses right now, but I would still say it is still quite a solid mapper. Just that probably you have to be careful. We are still going to use determination for the physical damage reduction and stuff like that. The whole objective of using the bow is to keep yourself within the distance of very aggressive or dangerous monsters. And with Ice Spear, you know, you can start freezing, chilling stuff. And that is like the whole purpose of this build. You need to maintain your distance away from those very dangerous monsters. Alright, as compared to the Cyclone, where you actually go near range and you are quite vulnerable to any sort of crazy damage on you. Okay, so yes, that's the whole idea of the Bow CoC Ice Spear. Next is, I just want to let you guys know, with a lot of reference from PoE ninjas here and there, testings and whatsoever, this is kind of like my own build that I have tried to refine as much as I can. I didn't really get to play super long last league, but I did play it, and I can tell you it's really fantastic mapper. Okay, it clears so well and so fast, and it doesn't even lag behind in terms of single target damage. Alright, the only difference is because sometimes you do meet very crazy high amount of elemental resistance rare monsters, Archnemesis mods, and that might be a little bit of a problem because in this Bow CoC build, you are not really going to use elemental weakness, so only frostbite, which I'll cover that later. Okay, so yeah, that's about it. I actually managed to refine and improve the DPS of both the low and the high budget. Unfortunately, I do not have enough time to actually do out a mid-budget build. So for those of you that was actually hoping for a mid-budget build that isn't one, I am sorry. Whatever it is, if you have enough currency to actually start buying the jewels for the high budget version, then you can slot them in your low budget version to help you progress further and much easier. Alright, now over to the POB. I just want to let you guys know I have updated them already. It's over here. You can see the both CoC Ice Spear, and I X out the mid-budget version. The POB is already updated here. For the links, right, I will do them before league start. Okay, so probably just one day before league start, so that you guys can have reference to it. This is basically a trade site. Let me just go into there. So whichever items you need on the POB, I will link it in the this column F. Okay, and then you can just click it and it will open up another browser that will bring you to the trade market link. Okay, so it's very easy to access, it's very efficient. You can just click and buy them. Right, but for those items that need life and resistance, please, I can't spoon feed you every single thing. You have to try to see it for yourself. As long as your resistance is capped, you have life, or your attribute is more than enough, then you can stop buying the rest of the item. Alright, this is just a little bit of you have to just look at yourself, alright, in short. Okay, right. And I just want to say another thing is, for those of you that are wondering what should I league start to transit into the low budget version, it is actually the Deadeye Ice Spear, okay? So this is not bow cast on crit Ice Spear, this is self cast Ice Spear, okay? I'm still working on a POB, but I will update it as soon as I finalize it. There are still some tweakings or refinings that I need to do. I have to ensure that you are able to go through the X much smoother and better. Alright, I don't want any of you guys to like get stuck somewhere, and you know, it feels very uncomfortable when you get stuck somewhere. And I've seen through a lot of video build guys, and I have looked through a lot. I have been through there, and it's not a really nice experience, right? So yes, just give me a little bit of time and I will update this as soon as I can, together with the video. Alright, and now this is the low budget build for the POB. On the skill tree, you can see I still have the various levels that can help you with your progression on where you should go. Level 67 for those of you that are starting this out as a second character. Alright, and then level 80 is supposed to be kind of like the benchmark over here. Let me just change this. Okay, I would say level 90 is actually much better, but usually around low budget you should be around 80, between 80 to 90, okay? So yes, first of all, I want to emphasize that look over here, our life is only 3004. Okay, it is not very healthy. Just it is purely because actually, first of all, this is a Deadeye character. It's a ranger character. It's not supposed to have a lot of life. Okay, and secondly, I am only in my items, right? I'm only using tier 3 life items. So we are not extremely healthy all the way until maybe like level 90, where we have maybe 9. Let me just see. Yeah, we have about 4000 life. So you should be more comfortable and you might feel safer over there. Okay. Otherwise, at level 80, we have about 1.1 million damage. I feel this is more than enough for you to map all the way until end of yellow tier maps. It should be sufficient enough. Technically, this DPS is not exactly accurate, okay, because it really depends on how much and how fast you hit. Okay, you might take shrines, acceleration shrines, and then you just go bonkers with your Ice Spear, alright? This build does not scale with cooldown recovery rate. Okay, the amount of times your Ice Spear is going to project out, it depends on your attack speed. Okay, the more attack speed you have, the higher you are going to project all of the Ice Spear. Alright, so yes, I'll leave the POB to you. You can just go and see it for yourself. Next is the skills. The skills for the low budget, we're gonna go with Tornado Shot, Cast on Critical Strike, Ice Spear, and then Greater Multiple Projectile with Inspiration. I think this is like the basic go-to for every of the CoC builds for Ice Spear. And then last but not least, increase critical strikes. Because we are low budget, we need something to scale crit strike chance. Okay. Next, this is going to be on your bow. Okay, so basically aura. I purposely put this over here so that you do not need to 6-sling your bow. Okay, I know it is super extremely annoying to 6-sling at the start, so that is why I have designed it so that you do not need to. Okay, and even though I put 4L here, but this is not falling. I'm just trying to show that there is 4 aura inside here. Okay, so Precision, Hatred, Determination, Defiance banner. This is more or less like the best I can go with the changes to the mana reservation. I don't think I can slot any others except provided if I were to try and branch out towards the other mana reservation slots, but I felt that it was not worth it at this point. Okay. So next, this also will be on your bow, which is your mark on hit and sniper's mark. We are still going to use sniper's mark, okay? Honestly, there is no other mark that is more useful. Let me just show you. So if you want, you can actually go for assassin's mark. You can see that the damage is still not very high, even though it gives you crit multiplier. But I think overall, in short, right, increased damage from projectile hits, like those flat damage, is probably much higher. Okay, so that's why we are still going to go with mark on hit and sniper's mark, and this is going to be on your bow as well. Just tooling green so that you can roll the colors on your bow much easier. Okay, next will be the helmet trigger. Okay, so for a helmet, we are going to change a bit this time round. We are actually going to use the new Azaneth's Mark Iron Circlet. With the changes to it, right, I felt that this is much better than the higher level helmet. I will showcase later why, alright? So what are we going to put inside? We're going to put Creeping Frost, Power Charge on Critical, and then Bone Chill. This is where you are going to generate your Power Charge on Crit. Okay. Personal preference, I would suggest Creeping Frost for the low budget version over Freezing Pulse, even though I did mention previously that Freezing Pulse is better. I felt that because it is a low budget, right, Creeping Frost will generate those chilling areas, and it kind of gives you the better or safer distance that, you know, when you have monsters that are trying to approach you, Creeping Frost is going to slow them a lot, and this gives you more space and more distance to deal more damage to them. That is why I chose Creeping Frost for the low budget. And yes, Bone Chill, and then Summon Ice Golem. Okay, Summon Ice Golem is over here. I will explain why it is not other skills. And yes, it's because of this. I am actually going to use Hydro Spear with Hex Touch and Frostbite. Okay, so basically, you only use this when you see very tanky rare monsters or when you are fighting boss. Okay, this is because when you encounter very thick mobs, you will actually need to use this. Right, that is why on the helmet trigger, I no longer use Frostbite or not Frostbite, sorry. Yes, Frostbite, I apologize. So yes, no longer using Frostbite or Frost Bomb, I actually decided to use Summon Ice Golem so that your Golem will more or less be like full uptime. And the last one will be Blood Rage. This is really optional, alright? So I put in Blood Rage here because it gives you increased attack speed and it allows you to leech as well. And it gives you Frenzy Charge, okay? With the Frenzy Charge, right, you are going to hit a lot faster. So let me show you. If I were to remove the Frenzy Charge, you can see that the damage is going to drop quite a fair bit. Alright, so just this Blood Rage is going to give you a lot of DPS, quite a fair bit of attack speed as well as leech. Okay, movement skill, Frost Blink and Arcane Surge. Of course, you can change it to Flame Dash, up to you. I prefer Frost Blink because it is instant. And then last but not least, cast when damage taken and Molten Shell because we have a very high amount of armor for a low budget build. Right, this gives you the capability to tank much more damage. Okay, for the chaos resistance, because you can see that we don't really have I mean, it's a low budget, right? So I'm going to completely ignore chaos resistance, and that is something that you need to be careful. But like, I think otherwise I would say it should be okay. It is normal to die to chaos damage monsters at low budget. Okay, on to the weapon. For the weapon, just use a decimation bow. I think that's how I pronounce it. Very simple over here, alright. This bow, right, just throw in an essence that gives you spell damage. I honestly can't remember which essence is it. Oops. Can I just remove it? Yep, let me just do a quick one. I can't remember the name. Yeah, here. Oh, okay. So it's way whatever. This essence, alright. Let's throw in one of them as high as you can. This is gonna give you a lot of damage. For now, I just threw in this wielding essence. So I didn't throw in a very high tier essence. But if you can, then of course as high as possible. Then just benchcraft critical strike chance. Right? This bow is just enough. Just like this. Anything else on it is going to be a bonus. Okay? I just build it this way because it is very hard to roll the perfect modifiers on it. And if you would like a unique bow, I would say a lot of them are actually still quite decent, but because our crit strike chance, right, you can see it's not 100%, so I prefer to benchcraft this. At least there's a decent amount of critical strike chance. Okay, so next will be the quiver. So quiver use the high risk demise sharktooth arrow quiver. This is really very good because it gives you life gain for each enemy hit by attacks. In a sense, right, when you encounter a really big pair of mobs, you can literally just stand there, tank their attack, and just keep hitting. Okay, it is really very powerful. And not only that, this quiver gives you attribute which we need to fulfill for some of them, like the strength, and then it gives you increased attack speed as well, and a lot of elemental damage depending on your attributes. Right, helmet. So the helmet, like I mentioned before, we are going to use the Azaneth mark this time round. So previously we was actually using this, okay, Azaneth's Chan, but with the changes to the Azaneth mark, right, I have deemed that actually it is much better. Let me just show you, okay. You can see, right, if I actually change, then we have about 86k DPS, less DPS. Right, even though it's not a lot, but I think for a low budget, it actually contributes, all of this more little damage contributes a lot to it. And what is the difference is this mark, right, this mark, it already has increased attack speed as well, just that no movement speed, and I think it is okay to forego that 5 movement speed. I feel it is okay to have increased spell damage. Right, so that is why we are using this instead. I will still leave the Azaneth Chan over here if you want to change. Body armor, just go for Tabula Rasa if you actually have body armor 6 link with the correct socket colors, a corrupted one, and with life, you can replace it. You can see our life is going to increase quite a fair bit, right? Especially at level 90. Let me just show you. At level 90, okay, at level 90 is only like this. Wait, what? Okay, and level 95, you're going to have more. Alright, because of the level. Sorry, my bad. Okay, if I were to change this. Yep, there you go. We have more than 4,000. I think that should make you feel much safer, okay? Otherwise, just use the Tabula Rasa first. Gloves. Simple, life, and resist. And then just benchcraft anything you want. Same for the boots, life and resist, and benchcraft movement speed. Preferably cannot be chill because you are not chill immune. Amulet, go for the Citrine Amulet because we need the strength and the dex, and then just annoying graceful assault so that we can have onslaught. For the rings, just same, go for life and resist on the first ring, and then life and resist on the second ring as well. Okay, we don't really need any attribute over here. Attribute will for strength, we will put it on the heavy belt. So just life and resist also. So mainly you can see all the rare items are just life and resist to cover up for the lack of resistance on this build. For the flask, just go for Quicksilver Flask with increased attack speed. If you do not want, then go for movement speed. I prefer the increased attack speed because the movement speed is actually very fast already. Okay, with Onslaught, you are going very fast for a low budget build. 100 plus movement speed modifier is really very fast. Okay, so that's why I didn't go for movement speed. Instead, I went for attack speed. Diamond Flask with increased critical strike chance as high as you can. Granite for the armor. Next will be Sulfur. Alright, Sulfur for increased damage and then reduced curse effect. And then lastly, your Life Flask doesn't have to be eternal. Just make sure you have the immunity to bleeding or corrupted blood. Right, for our sockets, you will need a Replica's Conqueror efficiency. Just like all other CoC builds, this build is going to use a lot of mana, and that is why it is needed. And then another Conqueror's efficiency just to maintain the small fair bit of amount left that we can utilize. Okay, so before I end the low budget version, just want to show you a quick one on the mana cost, which I forget to mention. So you can see that Tornado Shot, it costs 0. You can just hold right click on it and it will just shoot forever. Okay, Ice Spear is going to cost 2 mana only 2. Okay, only 2, so you don't really have to bother about not having enough mana. I can assure you, you have more than enough mana. You can even do knowledge maps. Okay, and then next will be your Mark. Your Mark is actually a bit expensive, so it's 28 mana cost. Alright, and then your Helmet Trigger Creeping Frost is going to cost 0. Okay, 0. Summon Ice Golem is going to cost 44, so a bit expensive over here. But probably you won't be casting every time. So this is probably the most expensive one. And then next will be the Hex Touch Hydrosphere. Alright, Hydrosphere is going to cost 0. And Blood Rage, Frostbite is going to cost 14. And Blood Rage is going to cost nothing. Oh yeah, right, it's life. What am I thinking? Alright, so Frostblink also 0. And then your cast when damage taken is also 0. So your main skill, right, literally only costs 2 mana per hit. And that is why I say that you can probably do no leech map, because with 31 mana regen, right, it's more than enough for you to sustain throughout the whole map. Okay, even fighting boss, no problem. Alright, and then for the notes, just take note that you can't do all of this. Actually, I did mention just now that you cannot do, you can do cannot leech for monsters map modifier, right? So yes, it is possible, but I still feel sometimes it is a bit dangerous, so I have included it right here. And then the rest of them actually is it is also doable. Alright, if you really need to do it under the corrupted map, then you can try. Otherwise, if you are not doing on a corrupted map, I would suggest that you reroll the modifier, alright, because they are quite dangerous. Okay, so yes, that's it for the low budget bow cast on crate. Alright, next up will be the high budget version. So at a glance, you can see this is how it will be. You have about 4,500 life at level 95. Alright, not the best. Like I mentioned, this is a ranger build, so don't expect it to have very high life. In my own honest opinion, right, 4.5 is actually already very high. If you were to go PoE Ninja and see, almost all of them don't even have 4,000. Okay, like regardless whatever build it is, they don't even have 4,000. So I guess I prefer myself to have over 4,000, because sometimes you will be in a very sticky situation where you cannot stop the monsters and they just go berserk and they come charging at you and they just slap you and die. That's why I prefer to have 4,000 to 5,000 life. I think it makes me feel much safer. Alright. Okay, and then we have about 12 million DPS. Okay, this is like for mapping. This is the highest you can go. Of course, the DPS is not exactly accurate, and this is just a reference for you to benchmark or whatsoever, right? And this is how the tree will be like. You'll be utilizing 2 cluster with 2 different medium cluster jewels. There are various levels of the skill tree. Of course, I am going to start at level 80 because level 80 is the minimum that this build should be at before you actually start playing it. Alright. And then level 90, and then it performs the best at level 95 because that is where you will actually cover the whole of your medium cluster, the large cluster jewel with the medium cluster jewel, and it will be the peak at this where this build can actually perform. Alright, so I'll leave the POB skill tree for you guys to view. Alright, and then for the skills, this is actually a 7-link cast concrete ice spear. Alright, why is this a 7-link? Because in the item, right, we are going to basically use a CoC bow. Alright, where the socketed gems are supported by level 20 cast on critical strike, and I will show this again later. Alright, so tornado shot with ice spear, and then greater multiple projectiles, inspiration, awaken added cold damage, and hypothermia. Do take note of the different type of variant for the skill gem. This is actually an additional one, so we are going to use the Meloni's mechanism, where it actually will trigger a socketed bow skill when you attack with a bow with a 1 second cooldown. Alright, so with this we are going to equip Frenzy with it, anomalous version, so that it kind of fires an additional projectile. So technically we're going to fire 4 arrows for Frenzy, and this is going to be accompanied with Awakened Hextouch and Frostbite. Alright, for our auras, this is the 6-link aura. Okay, it has to be a 6-link aura on your body armor. And it will have Hatred, Determination, Herald Eyes, Precision, and Defiance banner. Okay, this is still the same, no change. Enlighten 3. If you are feeling rich, you can put Enlighten 4 for 114 mana. Otherwise, I can tell you 71 is more than enough. Alright, next will be our falling the Azaneth's trigger. We are going to go for this, alright, because our damage is already very high. But if you still want to go for the, okay, let me go through that later. Alright, so this is the falling for the Azaneth trigger. You're going to use Frost Bomb, and then Freezing Pulse, Power Charge on critical, Bone Chill. Because the low budget is using Creeping Frost, I felt that the high budget doesn't really need to use, because you are killing things so fast on the map that you want your Freezing Pulse to actually reach the monsters first before your Tornado Shot and Ice Spear reach them. Right, that is why I chose Freezing Pulse over here. But if you still want to go with Creeping Frost, by all means, it is still okay. Alright, Mark skill, Mark on hit and Sniper's Mark, this is the same. Movement skill, Frost Blink and Arcane Surge, also the same. And then you will have 2-link cast when damage taken, with the Molten Shell, Anomalous, to last longer and take more damage. And the last one is just cast on death portal. Alright, sometimes you die. So over here, if some of you do not want the cast on death, right, you can actually use another 2-link. This is more towards the utility section, okay, where you can actually put 2 skills. One will be Blood Rage. Okay, I did not include in, but if you want to put Blood Rage, it is okay. You can see the difference is quite a fair bit. And then next will be Golem. Okay, one of the Golems, just any of the Golem. Oh wow, so Lightning Golem does better. Okay, I do not know which one does better, but you can probably just try and error it yourself. So Lightning Golem gives you 13.3. Yeah, so apparently Lightning Golem is better. Alright, so yes, if you want, you can put in Blood Rage and Lightning Golem instead of Cast on Death and Porter. But I am quite positive that your Lightning Golem is going to die quite often. So just beware of that. Alright, otherwise just use the Cast on Death Porter. I feel it's good enough. It's really good enough. You can see our attack speed is already very high. Alright, 4.00 for this kind of build that you need to scale, that scales like power charge, scale crit, scale spell damage. It's actually already very high. Okay, so done with this section. So next is this bow. Alright, how do you actually craft this bow? I have explained it in the video previously, so I'm just going to use words to let you guys know. First of all, you are going to keep spamming the essence, okay? Where is the bow? Right here. So, okay, let me just remove this. Spell damage. So you're gonna keep spamming Deafening Essence of Way, alright? You can spam as much as you want, but at this point I can tell you, you should spam until you get the line modifier that Socketed Gems are supported by level 20 cast on Critical Strike. If it's level 18, it is really up to you, alright? If you want to keep it, I feel it is fine, okay? In my own opinion, I feel it's fine. Otherwise, if you still want to hit level 20, then by all means you can just keep rerolling it. Yes, so basically you just spam the Essence of Way until you get Socketed Gems are supported by level 20 cast on crit, and if you have a open suffix modifier, right, you are going to benchcraft prefix cannot be changed. Okay. Wait, how about maybe I'll just give a very quick showcase over here. Crop of Exile basically has an emulator, alright, so you can try it out. Bow, they are two-handed bow, right? Decimation bow. Wait, I'm using decimation, right? No, spine bow, my bad. Okay, back. Spine bow, yes, spine bow here. Alright, okay, so yes, I forgot to mention why spine bow. Spine bow has a very high base crit chance, 6.50, right? And it has a very good amount of attacks per second. That's why we use spine bow, right? So spine bow, it has to be a shaper bow, alright? If I remember correctly, it's a shaper. Yep. It has to be a shaper spine bow. So let's just get on with it. And over here, look for the essence of Way. You can see I am going to spam it. Okay. So the prefix is Socketed Gems. Yes, this one. We want to hit this thing. Okay. So just keep spamming. Just keep spamming until you hit the Socketed Gems are supported by level whatever cast on Critical Strike. Oh my. I'm a little bit unlucky, aren't I? What? Usually it doesn't take a lot. Okay. I would say maybe about less than 40 or 50, you should hit it. Oh, I got it. Okay, I got it. Oh my god, level 18. Okay, whatever, let's just take it. Okay, so let's say you see, right, I now have actually gotten this already. So basically, one line of increased spell damage and one line of Socketed Gems are supported by level 18 or 20 cast on Critical Strike. Now what you want to do, right, go to your benchcraft and basically, wait, hold on, it's under suffix, right? Yeah, so suffix benchcraft, you are going to put this prefix cannot be changed. Okay, yes, I know because they are using like Divine Orbs now, it actually might be a bit expensive, but this is something that is no choice. Economies change, times change, you have to get along with it. Alright, you have to adapt to the changes. There is no choice. Alright, so prefix cannot be changed. Next, what you are going to do, right, you are going to use the Orb of Scour and just do this. Okay, so why we are doing this? Because prefix cannot be changed and we scour, and that's why the spell damage and the CoC modifier is still there, right? And then now because you are free from suffix, you are going to use this, right? You can have up to 3 crafted modifier. Alright, and this is where the triple modifier of your benchcraft is going to come in. I am sorry, I cannot remember what I put on. Alright, deal double damage. Yes, so it's deal double damage here. You are going to benchcraft this. Alright, get the tier 1 one. So it's between 8 to 10. And then the next one is the critical strike chance plus. Yep, over here. Okay, critical strike chance with strength intelligence. Let me just double confirm it. Yep. Okay, so just put on this and there you go, you have the bow. Right, this is how you actually craft the bow. If you were to ask me, this is not the best bow, but I say it is good enough. Okay, I do not want to rely on others like to, you know, do the best bow out there or whatsoever. I can firmly tell you that this is good and more than enough to actually run you all the way until like end tier or even juicy maps. This is more than enough. Alright, so yes, this is the bow. For the quiver, we are going to use the Melony's mechanism like I mentioned, and the helmet. Okay, helmet now. Azanef Chan is the one that we are using. So the other option, right, is actually this, Azanef's Mark. Okay, so there is two ways you can actually do with this. Wait, let me just apply the Ice Spear enchantment. This is really up to personal preference, alright? You can see, right, let me just save. You can see actually if you use the Azanef Charm, you are going to have more mana regeneration and you're going to have a bit of energy shield, even though it's not a lot. But you are going to have the 5% increased movement speed as well. But if you to use the Azanef's Mark, you are going to have more DPS and less movement speed with no extra energy shield. So if you are really concerned with just that small amount of what do you call that, the energy shield, because with the energy shield, right, even though it's not really a lot, 266, if you plus insight when you are at the end game, you can actually hit about 5,000 life, right, near there. This is not even like the best tier 1 life, so you should be able to hit about 5,000 if you want a safer margin, right? So this is really up to personal preference, up to you. I don't really have much say over here. I just want that small little movement speed so that I can hit above 140 and I'm going to go super fast with this. Alright. Next will be the body armor. So the body armor, the best is to use the astral plate so that it can cover our resistance, and then just use the awakener's orb to combine both the shaper and the hunter item. Then you can attacks have 2% to critical strike chance and then 1.8% to spell critical strike chance. Okay, so how do I actually do this? I have also written it in my buy list. Alright, I'm just gonna go over there. Here, it's over the portion here. So I also, this is in words, so just make sure one of the body armor that you purchase is an astral body armor. You have to buy 2 body armor before you actually combine them, right? One with the attack critical strike chance and one with the spell critical strike chance. Okay, so it must be the only influence modifier on the body armor. Why is it on the helmet? My apologies, I just noticed it. If there's 2 influence modifiers on the same one, right, like let's say if you have 2 shaper modifier, then it might not work, okay, because the awakener's orb is going to take one of the modifier randomly and then fuse it together. So it might actually take the alternate modifier. So how to fuse them? Literally just follow this step. Okay, you cannot go wrong. If you do not follow this step and then you screw up, then I don't know what to say. I've helped a lot of people with this and I really do not know what is the real issue. Like, it's already written on the awakener's orb as well. So like, you know, try to see it more, like read it at least, like what it actually does. Okay, I cannot afford to help so many people, every single person, to do it at the cost of my own expense every single time. I'm gonna go bankrupt sooner or later, right? So yes, this is your body armor. The only problem with this, right, is because of the divine orb. With the changes to divine orb, right, I am quite positive that you might not be able to hit the correct numbers again. Like, we are no longer going to throw divine orbs to actually change the numbers. So I am actually praying that Harvest is still keeping those modifiers that allow you to reroll them. Okay, that will be really great, because that is the only option left. You're not going to spam Divine Orbs to actually change this because it's going to cost really expensive. Gloves. We are just going to use the Incursion Gloves, of course, because we are cold damage. So definitely Incursion Gloves with chill damage. And then just find one of them with life and resistance. And then if you can, then just open have an open prefix slot. And then throw in the Searing Exarch and Eater of War currencies to get the 15% chance to unnerve enemies and the increased effect of your marks. Right, boots is just increase with life and resistance and with additional prefix slot so that you can craft benchcraft movement speed with the chance to gain onslaught on Q. Same, because this is not any influence shoe, any influence boots, so you can throw in the Searing Exarch and the Eater of War. The one that we want to hit is actually the increased action speed. Alright, the other one, honestly, it really doesn't matter. There is really no good modifier for it, so just whichever you want. Okay, so why is this not any of the influence boots? We are already at the eye, we already have Tailwind, so there's no reason to get a Tailwind boots. There is no reason to get a cooldown recovery boots also because it doesn't scale with these boots. And the best I can think of is elusive, but I think maybe the action speed might actually cover better, and these boots kind of like fulfill our life and resistance as well. Right, amulet, same, just go for the Citrine amulet. We need the strength and the dex. Life and lightning resist. The last one can be chaos resist. Doesn't have to be that amount of chaos resist. This is just a bonus for your chaos resist. Alright, and then just benchcraft. Non-channeling skills have -7 total mana cost. For the anointment, it is slightly different this time round. We are going to allocate sovereignty. Alright, it's all the way on the left. Because of the changes to the mana reservation, I do not have a choice right now. I cannot anoint any other stuff. It's not going to help. Even me taking this is not enough. Okay, I have tested, I have tried. Champion of the Cause is not going to help either, and that's why the only one that can make do with it is actually sovereignty. That will allow us to have our 5 auras with the Enlighten. Okay, rings is just life and resist rings. Same, you don't really need that much chaos resistance, but if you can get them, that will be great. Alright, and then the second ring is just attribute to cover back the small little amount of strength left that we need, plus life and chaos resist. Okay, belt is just the Stygian Vice with strength, life, and then benchcraft attribute. Same with the Abyss Jewel, life and attribute with any line of damage. Okay, it doesn't have to be the critical strike multiplier. So then again, the belt is designed to be built this way is because if you want to play a headhunter, just slap on it. You can just replace the belt immediately. You don't have to change any other parts of the build. Okay, and then you can just have the headhunter and just go and enjoy the maps. It will be super fun with this. Alright, I would actually honestly say, right, with the headhunter on this build, it is actually so fun because when you actually get those modifiers that gives you attack speed, very high intense attack speed, you are just going to feel like some crazy person shooting a lot of arrows. Alright, so enjoy that portion. For the flask, same Quicksilver flask, Diamond flask, and Granite flask for the armor. Oh, sorry. So Quicksilver flask is movement speed, Diamond flask is attack speed, Granite flask is armor, and then your Sulfur flask is for reduced curse effect. Right? So for those of you that do not want to use a Sulfur flask, you want more chaos resistance, you can change this with the Amethyst. Right? It's probably going to give you a lot of chaos resistance, and it's really up to personal preference. For me, I don't feel there is a need for the chaos resistance, so I will go for the Sulfur flask for more damage. Alright, then last one, Dying Sun. Of course, you definitely need them. Okay, and this is going to be your 2 line. Alright, so I'll just go over here. For the jewels, 2 large cluster jewel. Okay, Blanketed Snow, Prismatic Heart, and Widespread Destruction. Same like all my other cold builds, I'm going to mention again, Blanketed Snow is not mandatory. The only mandatory one is Prismatic Heart and Widespread Destruction. If you were to see, let me find that. Okay, so if I were to replace Blanketed Snow, the only option best is Blast Freeze. Okay, I'm going to change Blast Freeze, and you can see the DPS drop is actually not super a lot. Right, so I will say only the Blanketed Snow is more focused towards bossing, because you need to penetrate their resistance. Right, so if you are tight on budget, just go for a Blast Freeze. I can tell you it's good enough. Alright, and then one side of the medium cluster jewel is going to be the critical strike chance. Have pressure points and get away for the increased movement speed and attack speed. And then the other side is just the projectile damage cluster jewel for the projectile damage, increased attack and cast speed, and also the damage when you're hitting nearby enemies. Okay, so for the jewel sockets, one of them has to be the anti-corrupted blood jewel. Right, it doesn't matter what you have on it. Of course, if you can have either life or crit multiplier on it, that will be the best. For the non-corrupted ones, just go for a 2-line crit multi jewel. I prefer this to have life, okay, because we are already not very super tanky. Alright, like in terms of life, not in terms of armor. So in terms of life, you can see we are at 4,500 with all this maximum life jewel. If you want, oh no, actually there is really nothing much that I can add on for this. That's why I add the life and the crit multiplier for spell damage. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so oops, sorry. So this is the 2-line crit multi jewel, right? What if I do not want the life? I'm just going to show you. Alright, I'm going to take another crit multiplier for elemental skills. Okay, you can see my damage is going to skyrocket, but my life is going to decrease by quite a lot. Right, so just do take note of this. I would still prefer to have the life, because when you are doing very, very juicy maps, right, the survivability is quite important as well. So keeping it at about 4.5k life is much safer. Okay, next up will be the jewels at the bottom. So same, another cluster jewel, and for this just fulfill the basic jewel as well. And then we will have one unnatural instinct over here. I think this is still literally the best slot that you can put over here for unnatural instinct. Some of them put here, but I just felt it wasn't. It's good, okay, it's good. I'm not saying it's bad, it's good. But for this build, I will prefer to have here, because it gives us the attack speed, it gives us the spell damage, it gives us life, and it gives us movement speed as well. Right, so whereas over here, right, if I were to take Unnatural Instinct, then I cannot take the Depth Perception and the Accuracy Mastery, because we are not going to scale downwards. I don't think it's worth it. I prefer to get the Crit Strike chance, because I'm trying to cap my crit as much as possible. Okay, so that is why. And the last one is, is here. So Watcher's Eye, just get the 1.7 crit strike chance while affected by hatred. The determination is just a bonus. Okay, maybe I should show it over here. Right, the 7% additional physical damage reduction while affected by determination is a bonus. You can get anything else, it's fine, but it should not be very expensive for this. Alright, technically the most important thing is to just find one with at least 1.7 crit strike chance. I'm not asking you to get 1.8, okay? I feel it's very ridiculous to get 1.8 right now. The price will probably go crazy. And then last but not least, just Replicas Conquer Efficiency for more for the non-channeling skills have -9 to total mana cost. Right? So that's it. Basically, for your high budget build, is pretty straightforward, just that the items have a lot more rare items than all my other previous build, because we have to fulfill a lot of other stuffs and criteria. In your notes, you have all of this as well. Okay, maps that you can put in your search bar, and you might want to reroll them. Right, other than that, I can assure you that this build is actually equally as fun as well for mapping. It's going to clear really fast, and it has very decent bossing damage. So yeah, have fun guys. Okay, that comes to the end of this video. So if you have any questions, do join the Discord and I will try to answer your questions. And if you like my video, do remember to hit the like and subscribe button. I will see you in the next one. Bye.